extraordinaire. And I have another Ian with me tonight. Ian Smith from the Wine Smith. He's a wine broker and importer. He's going to talk to us about that end of the business. So,
Welcome, Ian. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks. Welcome.
It's my pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.
Awesome. Sorry, and I was looking off screen, so I'm like, oh no, pay attention, Sean.
Yeah, we're doing stuff here.
Right. So this week, I know that's the wrong can. Actually, Ian, why don't you introduce the beers? Because I have them up here behind me.
So we've got sour beers, which, yes, they are ales. They're behind us. We've got one from Westbrook. We're going to do their Gose. And then we've got all the way on the other side of the country, the Anderson Valley Tropical Hazy Sour Ale. So the main difference between the two of these are this one is actually brewed with fruit in it. The Westbrook is the traditional kettle style sour with the coriander and sea salt, which makes it a true Gose. And we'll start with that one.
Awesome. So as we dig into that, also just our beverage director Kevin says hello. So
Kevin's on.
Hey, Kevin.
Hello, Kevin.
I didn't know he had the night off. Either that or he's just messing around at work.
Kerry was there, so he's probably done by now, yeah. Or he's at work now.
All right.
Hello,
and Claire's staying up late to drink with us.
Nice.
Excellent. So we're doing the Gose and
Gose.
Ian 2, for the sake of reference. You said you've had both of these beers before, right?
I have had both of these beers before. I'm a fan of beer in general. Even though my trade is wine, I drink a lot of beer, and I have been I've been on the sour thing for a couple years now, and kind of got off of the sours over this winter, doing all these hazy IPAs. But over the last couple weeks, I've been back into them. So I'm excited to be drinking some sours and some Goses with you guys.
Yeah,
are y'all drinking them out of the can, or you pouring them in the glass?
Them in the glass.
Okay, all right, cool. I got some
taster.
glasses. Cool.
Whatever makes you happy. I mean, as long as one of us does it, you're
the
okay.
run of,
get down my throat, I'm happy.
You missed our run of hazy IPAs we've done over the last couple weeks.
Oh man, yeah. We've been doing a lot. The more interesting stuff keeps coming out, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah. So
For sure.
Westbrook, this is pretty hazy itself, actually.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This one's 4% alcohol by volume, so you can sit and drink on these. Less than a Miller Lite, and then 5 on the IBU scale. So, which we talked about that, and it's not really a scale. It's more like we went into that last week about what the IBU.
The science behind it versus what you're tasting, which is slightly different. But
yeah, so this is super low IBU, and it doesn't it doesn't have any of that bitterness. It has none of that hoppiness. I mean, it's far away from an IPA.
Yeah.
Oh sure. Now, the sour note on it is really, really nice. Like
it's mellow.
This is good.
It's like pineapple sour.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's it's very easy drinking. Like it's a hot weather kind of Gose. I think it's got what's really neat about it in the traditional sense of it. Has a real nice salinity that's not overpowering, with some real nice lemon zest, and that you get from coriander, sort of that some of those citrus kind of fruits, citrus tropical kind of fruits that it's a really, really, really enjoyable, refreshing beer. It's one of those beers between the salt and the sour. Like, it truly is a beer that you take a sip of and you're like, damn, I need another sip of that.
Yeah, this is a river bar. This is a river bar beer right here.
Oh, this is good. This is really easy drinking. What did you say? The IB? Not the IB. Oh, it's 4% alcohol by volume.
Yeah,
okay.
4%.
Yeah, this is
drink these.
Yeah, this is a patio drinker.
Mm-hmm. This is a ride down the river drink right here.
You guys know better than I do, but most of the time, it seems like sours are more type beers. I mean, they're lower in alcohol.
They're usually lower, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, what makes a sour, good segue leading into that, is really it's bacteria. You want to get a good bacteria strain in there or yeast strain. What they call it, lactobacillus, which is it's a kind of bacteria that's very much used. Also, pedococcosis, which is another style of kind of bacteria that they use, and it gives it almost that creaminess as well that you get. That you don't notice it because you're not really looking for it, but if you taste it, you can kind of pick up on. You get almost little nuts from the lacto.
I'm glad you had to say those two different bacterias or yeast strains and not at the end of the
Oh yeah. Yeah, we get less sciencey as time goes on.
It's bacteria. But the thing is this same stuff is like how your gut uses to ferment or not ferment, but to digest.
Break down.
Yeah.
Now, is it just me? But like, oh, go ahead.
I actually I was at the Westbrook Brewery maybe 3 or 4 years ago up in Mount Pleasant. And the guys, the owners up there gave me a tour and we were tasting their beers. And believe it or not, it was the first sour that I'd ever had. Westbrook was. And they told me a story, and I don't know how true it was, but they said that it was the beer that Napoleon gave to all of his fighting men, all of his soldiers, before marches, because it is such a refreshing, lighter style of beer before they went into battle.
I can believe that. I can buy that because it's got the salt. It's almost like electrolytes.
Right? Yeah. So like I said, I don't know if it's true or not. I just remembered that off the top of
It's
my
what
head.
plants crave.
Oh, jeez.
If you know that movie.
Yeah, that was Mike Judge. I can't get it off the top of my head. Idiocracy, that's right. I just remember it being, that was Terry Crews.
The beer I'm drinking it. The beer does seem to it is those electrolyte, that kind of salty salinity thing is getting more and more pronounced. I mean, it's it's kind of like this.
Charges you up.
This roasted peanuts or some popcorn. Oh man, you got a pucker face going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
we have a salted pretzel Gose at one point.
No, that was the that was on the can from one of the Oktoberfest beers when we were doing the Oktoberfest.
No. Was it Maverick and Gose?
Yeah,
I can't remember
I
who
remember
made
we
it.
had that, but that was oh god.
I could have sworn that's what they were doing. And I'm digressing, so we could talk about this later. But it's very much kind of getting in that mindset of what you're tasting anywhere. Let's go that direction. And geez, I'm almost done with this one because this is a good beer.
Yeah, this is good.
So do you guys agree? Yeah, it's a great beer. I mean, so you guys agree like this is sort of the fundamental sour, right? Like this is the basic, because that's sort of the it's not basic. It's good. It's got a lot of flavors, got a lot of character. But I mean, this is sort of kind of the baseline of the category sour, right?
Like for example, if you're talking about salumi or salami, you would say like your sopressata is your base, and then you go with adding spices and adding this and adding that to it. Yeah, definitely that a Gose is that style, or even like a Hefeweizen would be that style before you take it sour.
Right.
It's like a base.
Yeah, no, this actually is a good example of if you say Gose, this is what you should think of. But there are some unique parts of this too, like kind of like that pineapple tinge,
Yeah.
and
It's
the
like
on the nose, and I can't identify it, but there's something kind of warm and slightly sweet, and just like a little almost woody. I hate to say sweet wood, but it's
almost
unusual. And
Maybe
like
a
driftwood.
wheat
It's almost
straw
like a
or something.
driftwood kind of to it, you know. Like have
uh,
you ever been to like a driftwood beach, like
yeah,
Jekyll?
driftwood,
Yeah,
or Ian too is saying like it's like a wheat, but like have you ever smelled almond flour?
almond flour.
Uh,
Yeah, it's got a little
almond?
bit of that smell to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it sort of has like a sort of a wet wheat straw, not a corky thing, but sort of something that, like you're saying, is like it's warm,
Yeah,
but it's some sort of organic, lighter style of earth. Like
yeah,
the wheat straw is what I'm thinking of, but
yeah. That would make sense too.
it's good. But it's the power of suggestion is strong. But the driftwood thing, as soon as you said the driftwood, it's got some layers. This beer's got some layers. It has some character to it that it's
you almost
really
get a
intriguing.
little, and you almost get a
Yeah.
little like meringue or from the creaminess that comes from it as well.
I totally get the lemon thing. The lemon thing is strong to me.
Yeah.
I mean, the two predominant the sides are the salinity and the lemon. Those are the two big
Yeah.
ones I get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, this is this is a good example, but also just unique enough to be like, yeah, this is a cool beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is good, and the can is nice and classic,
Yeah.
like the design
There
of
we
the can.
Right there. Don't have to hold it up
Yeah.
anymore. Look at that
I
green screen,
have
baby.
to have the lights reflecting off of it.
Sean, that's a great background you got
Yeah.
there.
You know, $40 for a green screen,
That's awesome.
and then I built a white box so I could take photos of beers and cocktails because I guess I'm that kind of person now.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what you do.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Screw your restaurant photos. I have a room for this. No.
Yes. You do it. I do it at
How do
home.
you
You
cut
do it
that
at the restaurant. I do it at home.
Say that again?
Sean, what are you cutting the fruit up for? Is that for the cocktail?
Oh yeah, no, it's I've been fidgeting with. But yeah, this will be for the cocktail.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got my little sushi paring knife because honestly, it's my favorite thing to cut fruit with, and then and just my orange because it'll be our garnish. Oh god, yeah, I love a good paring knife. By the way, that's just for cutting fruit. Like at home, I have at least 6 different knives that are all like within an inch size of each other. But like, oh, this is my travel one, and this is my one for show. I like this one for shows.
You got the trap. Yeah.
I've got a folding one that's a pocket knife, but it's actually like a chef's paring knife that, yeah, folds together.
Well, should we move along to the next one?
We should, because I'm starting to feel really awkward about
Yeah.
my fruit
Yeah.
knives.
Sean's getting a little excited. A little excited about the knives there.
Right?
All right, so the next one's the Anderson Valley Tropical Sour Ale. So this is ale with passion fruit, guava, and coriander. So this beer is actually brewed with fruit, and I expect it to be a pinkish hue, probably. Nope.
Not really.
I don't
Definitely
know.
on the nose. A lot of that passion fruit and more of like a papaya or tropical style fruits in the nose.
And it's got some. It's got. And you know what? What's I smell on this beer? Maybe it's just because I know where it comes from, but it's almost got like the smell of wine country to it. You know,
Really?
like if you've ever walked out in Sonoma and I mean, this is kind of. Maybe I'm reaching for it, like I said, but I kind of get that on it.
I think you're right. I mean, it does have that. It's a lot more floral than the Westbrook. It has a lot more floral tones. I mean, it almost has some like lilac fruit or some lilac flowers like in the nose. It's significantly different than the Westbrook.
Yeah. I get like almost like a dust or a chalk too from it. Like a
you're right. Like almost it's almost a slatey kind of thing, like a slatey chalk.
Yeah, or like dirt road kind of, or like gravel road.
Or shale, sort of maybe like seashell almost.
Yeah, I get that.
Are you tasting that or smelling that?
Tasting it more.
I'm tasting the earth, but I'm smelling the flowers.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm like I didn't taste it yet. I'm like, oh, okay.
No, but like licking a rock almost.
Yeah, a bit more mineral. Like wet stone.
Yeah,
like wet stone kind of.
Yeah. If you've ever used whiskey stones, and for whatever reason, maybe you licked one.
Yeah,
I guess I did. It's kind of got that taste, and actually almost that texture. Yeah. Like it leaves a little bit of that on your tongue.
Yeah,
I mean, is
like almost like you've been
lighter than the last?
I think it is. This one's 4.2 ABV, and they didn't list the IBUs, so that's not something they.
So it actually has a little more alcohol.
Yeah.
Tiny bit.
Okay.
Tiny bit. Yeah. But
it's got a really bright acidity to it.
Yeah, and the mouthfeel really gets me on this. I'm sorry, what was that?
It's a drier beer than the Westbrook.
Yeah, like I'm glad we finished with this one too, because this is more of like a finishing kind of beer. I think, I could sit like on top of like the dune, overlooking the Pacific Ocean as the sun goes down. Drinking,
See, this would make a good cocktail topper.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you wanted to do, easily it'd be an easy reach doing a gin cocktail with this. This would layer right on top of it, no problem.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a really bright, light acidity to it. It's not like the other one. You could tell like this is lemon. This is the kind of tart acidity that you get. And I mean this in a very nice way, but like from a distilled white vinegar, like it's very clean. It just kind of hits your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't leave a lot there. I mean, we have that minerality and that stuff from the actual taste of it, but the acidity is just like I can feel it back here, like just hitting the back of like my jaw.
Yeah, the Westbrook is a lot more refreshing. This is a lot more. I don't know. It's, for lack of a better word, easy drinking than the Westbrook. I don't know. I can this one I can relax with a little bit more. The Westbrook, I feel like I'm like, let's drink some beer, and this one I feel like I'm just gonna sit back in my chair, and sip on this for a while.
You could pound the Westbrook essentially,
yeah,
and you feel a little bit more like sipping the Anderson Valley,
like day beer, and then when the sun goes down, we'll switch to the West Coast.
Yeah, my take on the Westbrook is that it's a little bit more complex of a beer. I think it has more layers of complexity when it comes to like a thinking man's beer, something you can sit down with a can of this and kind of dissect it. Where the Anderson Valley, I thought was going to be a little bit more complex because of the added fruit. It's great beer. It's got this dryness, really unique and really nice. And it's a more chill beer. Like it has some really nice integrated fruit. The aromas, the nose on the Anderson Valley is great. It's amazing. The finish, that dry, clean finish that I really wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
cool.
leaves you almost wanting more, and ready to take another sip.
Ian, too, if you could do me one quick favor. I hate to interrupt the flow of the show, but every once in a while your connection starts to stutter a little bit. Can you make sure you don't have any other apps open on your device or anything running in the background?
Yeah. Let's see. Oops.
Put the old Indian with the headdress, technical difficulties.
All right then. Let's see. I think I can actually hear us in the background.
Yeah, I can.
Oh no!
I think he's freezing a little bit.
Did I get back?
Not your picture yet.
Yeah, there you go. You're moving now.
There we go. Okay. Cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we might be taxing your bandwidth a little bit. It's beer dance time.
Yeah.
All right. We'll get. Is it almost? I guess it is almost cocktail time.
It is, but Ian, why don't you tell us a little bit about your business, what you do?
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Oh.
My back. I can't hear you guys really.
Okay. Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Yeah, you might have to restart.
Okay, do that?
We might have to have you log back in. That might be the
Let's
solution to this.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Because I hear a lot of feedback too.
Yeah, how about it better?
A little bit better. Yeah.
A little bit. Maybe we'll try to keep going.
Is that better now?
Oh, there we go.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on.
No, it's all right.
Right. Is anyone in your house streaming? I don't know, movies right now?
No, I'm at my office, and it's so there's nobody here in the whole place. So I mean, the internet connection should be good. I'm not sure. Sorry.
Dang. Oh no, you're fine. That's sometimes it just happens. Ian, what question were you asking? Before
I was going to ask him, tell us a little bit about your business. What you do? How you make your money?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a wine importer basically, and so pre-pandemic I would travel the world and find wineries, cool, unique wineries, mostly small family owned and operated wineries that we'd bring into the States, and then we sell to beer and wine distributors. So that's the primary job that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years. I got my start in the restaurant business here in Atlanta. I own 3 restaurants in Atlanta. The first one we opened up in, it seems like a lifetime ago, but in 2001, and down in Midtown. And then we had another one over in Kirkwood. And when we sold them, I was I'd always been really passionate about wine and about drinking in general. And so I decided to use some of my connections and start talking to some wineries and start the Winesmith Company. And so that's what I did. So I've been importing wine for 10 years now. And we sell to about 15, 16 different states. We warehouse everything up in New Jersey, and we work out of the headquarters here in Atlanta.
That's awesome. Yeah. Now I saw where I saw you is you were on it's national news, but local here to us. So I'm watching them all the time. The HLN. You were talking to. Forget who it was, which anchor it was that you were talking to. But I think
There's a couple, Liz O'Day
Okay.
or Liz Prime.
Yeah. The one with the she's married to the Braves, Darren O'Day.
Yeah, that's right. He
Okay.
actually in that trade, he's up with the Yankees this season.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, she was talking with you about now how you do now the part of the wine clubs and the where that you get the wine at home.
We do so over the last couple years, the direct to consumer market has really grown a tremendous amount. I mean, it's there's a lot of people, even post pandemic, but especially in pandemic time. There's a lot of customers and consumers that want wine and beer delivered to their door. And so these wine clubs have just caught on fire. And so as an importer, part of my job is to sell wine to these different wine clubs across the country. And so we sell to about 10 of the different wine clubs. We source wine for them essentially. And, we send them samples, show them cool stuff, get them prices that work within their club parameters. And it's a really neat way for the consumers to find these imported wines that aren't in a lot of stores. I mean, a lot of them aren't, you can't buy them on shelves. So there's a lot of cool, unknown Ribadedueras from Spain that haven't ever made it to the U.S. market that these consumers are now getting to experience. There's a bunch of cool like Portuguese wines. There's Sardinian wines. There's wines that aren't classic wine appellations and districts of origin that in the past haven't had a lot of representation, that these wine clubs and these wine consumers are really excited about trying because they're brand new. I mean, they're out experiencing different types of wine that they haven't had they hadn't had access to in the past,
or even would think to try. We
that's
we
right.
find
That's
that a
really
lot
cool.
in the restaurant where I'll be taking care of somebody and they'll want me to pick out something of the wine for them that pairs with their food, and I always ask them, well, how adventurous are you and what do you usually like to drink? So like Sauvignon Blanc drinkers, for example, I'll put them on to Albarino. I feel like that's a great, step to a different style of wine and expanding people, to it, because they are similar, but they are different as well.
Well, in the U.S., there is so the United States in 2 years ago became the greatest consumer as far as a country goes for volume of wine. There's a lot of people drinking wine, and there's a lot of consumers in the U.S. And so with that, the palate of Americans have really jumped up several levels over the last decade where, people are not there's always going to be a place for the big bulk wines. The Yellowtails have their place. The Sutter Homes have their place. But there's a lot of people that are, they tried the Menage a Trois. They tried the Mayomi. And they say, you know what? I want to try something new. I want to try something different. I want to try this Albarino or this Vino Verde or, Nebbiolo or these interesting new varietals to them that have actually been around forever. So people are breaking the mold. They're not just drinking Cabernet and Chardonnay anymore. Hell, you look at Rosé in America. I mean, the last 5 years, like there's not a wine list I know you guys work at Canoe, which has a great wine list. But there's not a wine list in Atlanta, a serious restaurant that doesn't have one or two rosés by the glass on it anymore. 10 years ago, you couldn't find that. So really, the consumer palate is advancing.
Funny how you say that about rosé now too. Is you put people more on that rosé, and they almost are like when they try something like Provence compared to white Zinfandel, they're like, oh wait,
Oh, yeah,
this is wine.
Right. This doesn't normally come in a jug, does it?
This is what I should be drinking outside on the patio.
Right. So the wine business in general, and the wine consumers are getting more savvy. They're getting more adventurous. They're starting not to just drink the wine, but they're looking for more enjoyment out of that beverage, and so they want to get to know about it. They want the story behind it. They want to find out not only what kind of grapes that wine is made from, but also where the wine comes from, and the story, the people that are, which is the most intriguing part of it, is the people that are behind the winemakers. These families that have been making wine for generations and generations and generations. I mean, it really brings a lot of enjoyment to a drinker to know that there is more than just, throwing it down your throat.
Mm-hmm.
So you brought up a point that I is amazingly important. I think once you have something that's a good product, a good wine, like the story is basically, to me, is what seems to sell it. Or maybe if you're walking around the store, it's a label with a little bit of a story that tells it. But like anytime I've met a wine, a vineyard owner, a master distiller, anything like that, like they always have a really good story. And without that, you can kind of shrug it off and go, okay, that's neat, or oh, this is really good, but like, oh, a 5-minute like harrowing tale or whatever. All of a sudden, I'm in love with that thing.
It is, and it allows the consumer to identify not only with the person but with the product. Mm-hmm. And that's really what, once you have ownership in that product, that's what sells it. That's what gets traction out in the marketplace. So, and it's with beer, wine, spirits. It's with it's with a lot of stuff. But in beer, wine, and spirits, especially, they're a lot of them are handcrafted. And when I say handcrafted, they are really, like, some of these wineries are small little farms that they've been worked by the grandfather, the great grandfather, all the way back, and you start hearing the story and the history. It's really, it's unique and it's cool, and it's something that, it's more than just wine or beer in your glass. It's the story that those people bring to you.
Well, it's great because a lot of what these bigger companies are doing, like, for example, like the Miller Coors or like Gallo do, is they buy the company, like, for example, Terrapin was bought by Miller Coors, and they basically, you keep running it the way you run it. You need any help, you give us a call. And it's basically like a boost that they get, because then they can start getting real experimental. Like, I've gotten to sit down with Spike Bukowski from Terrapin, and he's told me, like, I've got like a good long interview with him, and he's told me everything from like the ground up, how they started working restaurants and doing turtle signs across the parking lots, and that's how their beer started. And and then I got to go to California with Gallo, and go on this really cool thing where they go to each one and having dinner at the McMurray Ranch. Yeah. And drinking the wine from there and getting told the stories about when it was the Potter Ranch, and how the house you're sitting in having this dinner in is 150 years old, and like you step outside and it's like such a almost like magical place.
Yeah. It's so awesome, and it's so cool, and you're absolutely right. And as much as I'm against the sort of big conglomerate, those guys like Miller Coors that have bought Terrapin, you're absolutely right. They've given them this cash injection to go out and have more, use everything as a playground and be more experimental. And it just gives it gives the consumer, it gives them a lot more to play with. But those guys at Terrapin are still doing things the way that they
want to do it
before, have more money. And the Gallos have been instrumental in, they own something crazy like 250, 300 wineries around the world. That you pick up a bottle that's owned by Gallo. You don't see Gallo's name on it anywhere.
That's my California or my Sonoma and Napa map that I got. Because do you know Wyatt from Gallo? He's like kind of their guy here in Georgia.
Who is it?
Wyatt.
Oh yeah. I know Wyatt.
He's the guy who basically took us on the tour around all the places.
Wyatt's a great guy. He came from National. Actually, Wyatt was the district manager for National Wholesale when I had Venocity. Venocity was our first restaurant, and Wyatt was the guy that headed that up. He's now with Gallo and works more with Empire because that being a Gallo house. So yeah, Wyatt knows his stuff. And so those big conglomerates like that, like I got my my certification from what essentially is Sutter Homes. I mean, they sponsored me and brought me out with the Trincaro family, brought me out to Napa for studying and to take my tests. And so it was, the big conglomerates, they do have a lot of money and they do help in a lot of ways. So you can't really, the ones that do it right, you got to love them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. But to go out there and listen to it, like hear them, this is how it is, and we leave it. We let them keep doing what they do. Like that's like you say, why? He's like, this is we buy it, we give them their whatever, and we make it their product better, because if we don't want to put that vintage out that year, we don't have to, because like you said, we've got money. We can dump an entire vintage right down the drain and it's not going to hurt us. Or we can put it in our lesser barefoot product and sell it that way.
Yeah, I mean, they're smart business people. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for cocktail time?
Yes, I know Sean is.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, I muted myself so I get some ice and not interrupt you.
I was hoping that bow tie would light up though at cocktail time.
That's actually, I'm now gonna have to look for a light up bow tie. Thanks. Damn it. Actually, if I'm really lucky, I'm gonna find one that's Bluetooth that I can connect to my phone and change the colors like on the phone.
There you go. Yes.
That sounds like it was just my birthday though, but damn it. I'll find a reason to get that bow tie. So this week, and I don't have a name for the cocktail yet, it was just more of a playing around, and this seemed like fun. Ian 2's is totally pre-mixed, but in a little rocks glass, fill it with ice, and just take one full dauber of Jamaican bitters, and just kind of swirl it around on the ice there. Take about 1.5 ounces of bourbon. There we go. Oh, I got a leaky pour spout. No! And roughly 1/4 ounce of orange juice. Of course, you can always go a little bit more, but look at me measuring. And last but not least, we're going to put a little bit of tonic on top. I'm using a little bit of Fever Tree Refreshingly Light tonic. So it's not a diet. That's cool. I mean, you can put whatever you want to in your body.
I got the old classic. Oh.
And then last but not least, we're going to put a little orange slice on there.
I'm sorry, Sean. How much orange juice did you say with this one again?
About 1/4 ounce, so just a healthy splash.
Gotcha.
All right, we'll wait for Ian.
Yep, I'm always
Ian 1. Ian 2 is fine.
Yeah, his was pre-made.
Yeah, you could do it too, instead of just sitting there wasting my time.
I should do that, shouldn't I?
You know what's cool about it, Sean, right off of the rip is it's the color of the 2 Goses that we've already had. You intended to do that, that was on purpose, but it's like this. It's the same color.
It is.
It really is. It really is the same color. It's kind of goofy.
And you know what? I have a feeling that the taste of it is going to be kind of on that level as well. No?
Okay.
I'm going to say no.
It's got a strong nose.
I taste my bitters on it. I definitely do.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a hard no as far as it doesn't really taste like the Gose at all.
No.
Now, between the bourbon and the bitters.
Yeah.
Not at all.
The orange juice is nice. The orange juice gives it a little bit of acidity and
it sweetens it up a little bit, because the tonic otherwise would be like you'd get a lot more, just too much of the quinine.
So the ginger is from the bitters. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bitters is definitely giving it that ginger flavor to it. That's like I said, I get that bitters on it.
Yeah, the bitter sticks out quite a bit. Yeah, I was really just going for just a simple bourbon cocktail this week. nothing too crazy. Something easy to make. Because some of the stuff I go for, of course, is like let's make it weird. Let's find a weird ingredient.
Yeah,
Nice and easy. Something easy to drink.
It definitely feels like a spring summer bourbon cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed, man.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
We're almost.
Yeah, I think that's where my mind is. Like it's because like last year we had a pretty solid kick of Tiki Cocktails, and
Okay. Yeah.
and we're gonna do that again this year for sure. But I'm trying to not lean into that too hard before it's actually tiki weather.
So the Tiki Cocktails, they're all rum based.
Usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually.
I mean, sometimes gin sneaks in there, or a little bit of brandy, of course.
Okay.
But pretty much rum is your primary component.
Or some tequila, some mezcal. He likes
sometimes.
He likes to put the mezcal in things.
I do like mezcal.
Smoke it up a little bit.
I used to hate it, but I'm warming up to mezcal. Of course, I love cachaça, but that's that's in the
Brazilian.
rum family.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I could do weeks of caipirinhas. Let's add a different fruit, add a different spice. It's a whole new caipirinha.
We should do a caipirinha season just for you. And you need to have like a special outfit that you wear during caipirinha season.
I'm gonna say that would probably be more of a lack of outfit.
Like I would say, like a sleeveless tuxedo shirt, and you know what I'm saying.
I think it's like a mesh tank top and a gold lame ball cap. Like, all right,
yeah. No, keep it classy, like Chippendales.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, sure. I have a feeling in that dance off, I'd be more of the Chris Farley part.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Both great. You're both the hardest decision we've ever had to make.
And while we considered that some of our larger ladies would like to see someone with your builds.
Sean, remind me, there's no pineapple in this, right?
No pineapple. Nope.
Okay.
4 ingredients. Super. Actually, it's the super.
Not
super
even
simple.
in the bitters. Not even in the bitters.
It does have that sort of. It's got a kind of a sweet, like a sweet fruit that it kind of tastes like there might be a splash of pineapple, but no, huh?
It's
it
might be
OJ.
in the 151 rum in the from the bitters. Perhaps.
You had like pineapple 151? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not. I don't taste the pineapple. Yeah.
No. I mean, I think it's just that sweetness. I think it's coming off the OJ.
Maybe.
Where it's just like, is that right as you start to swallow, there's kind of like a sweet hit that kind of gets you in your throat. At least that's how I feel it. But yeah.
What was the inspiration of this cocktail? It doesn't have a name, right?
Doesn't have a name. What was the inspiration? Well, Ian asked me what the cocktail was for this week. I said,
Give me a minute.
I'll tell you. But I mean, so this podium is a bar. I have a bar just outside this room, which is like my main. It's a closet that I converted into a bar. So there's just layers of liquor, and then I have a third kind of storage area where like I keep all the beer from the show, but also some extra liquor. So I kind of wander between those 3 spots and just kind of go, all right, what seems interesting? What can I do? And I've got a bitters shelf of just different kinds of bitters. And I haven't done a bourbon cocktail in a while. I feel like bourbon this week. And normally it kind of comes down to like, what can I make weird but still palatable? And a beer or bourbon and tonic sounded just dumb enough to try to make taste good.
With the Caribbean bitters.
With Caribbean bitters. Yeah. And
and now it's Caribbean bitters now. It was Jamaican bitters earlier. Now we've
It's
turned it
Jamaican.
into Caribbean bitters.
where is
Jamaica's
Jamaica?
Jamaica's in the Caribbean. You're looking for those Caribbean flavors. Who doesn't like the Caribbean? I am bummed that I'm not going to the Caribbean this year. Usually I am. This is.
I have a dark answer for who doesn't like the Caribbean, but I'm going to save that for the post show because I don't think I could legitimately say that out loud. But it's about 10:45, so we should start to wrap up our main show. Ian, do you have anything that you'd like to promote, pimp, or otherwise tell people in the general world about
our wonderful segment?
I am going to. I'm going to give a shout out to one of my customers. It's a wine club that I do some sourcing for them. They have really grown a lot in the last couple of months. It is they source great wines from all over the world, from Italy, Portugal, Spain, France, South America, Argentina, Chile. They've got some great stuff. I think it is if not the best, one of the best value-oriented wine clubs that's on the internet. And it's the Vita Wine Club, VITA wineclub.com. So I'm going to throw a bone to those guys, and that's who I want to talk about.
Rock on.
All right. Vita Wine Club.
Vita Wine Club.
Vita Wine Club. Go check it out.
VITA.
VITA.
Well, thank you, Ian Smith of Winesmith Co.
Yeah.
Even though you're not necessarily you're a B2B, I guess would be the right way to say that. But
right, that's right.
We still appreciate you being out there and bringing good wine and some good Japanese whiskey to the market. If you want to see more shows like this, or if you want to see maybe some after show where we keep drinking, you can always find us on patreon.com/Beery Traveler. Otherwise, you can find all of our shows on Facebook, fb.me/Beery Traveler. You can find us on Instagram and interact with us, _Beery_Traveler. You can find us on Twitter, Beery_Traveler. And of course, we have a regular website, thebeerytraveler.beer. And if you want to email us, you can figure out at beerytraveler.beer, at Ian, at Sean, at Ty, our director. Thank you, Ty, our director, for telling us how to light ourselves and point cameras and direct things so that we look good. Thank you to Atrocity Girl, who was our very first Patreon sponsor. We still love you, and we hope you are still rocking up in Seattle.
And I've got that hot.
Next week,
I've got the super hot for you.
And Ian has some super hot bitters for you. And that's for next week, we have Mark, who is a trumpeter with the Atlanta Symphony, coming on with us. And I actually recorded another show with him, and I'm excited for that because I already got him drunk once this month. Well, it's going to happen again.
We're going to get you drunk again. We're going to get you drunk. All right. Well, hey, we're always looking for good times and great beers. Again, my name is Ian. Sean, thank you again for joining me all the times, all the weeks. And Ian, thank you again for coming out and hanging out with us. But until next Friday, we'll see you. Have a good night. Have a good weekend.
Cheers.
Be safe.